Let's talk about fear. It's the elephant in the room that everybody deals with, but nobody ever wants to talk about. And I can't tell you over the last month or so how many questions I've gotten from so many of you that have been asking about, hey, I'm scared of blood, or I'm scared of interviews or talking in front of other people. I'm scared of fill in the blank, all sorts of other things. How do I get past it? How do I get over it? How do I get over self-doubt? How do I build mental toughness and resilience? So in this video, what I want to talk about is some actual strategies for how to do that. These are things that are based off of my own experiences in my life that I found help me get past certain things. But more importantly, I want to talk about why it's important that you do this and how if you don't do this, it will affect far more than just yourself. So as always, if you find this useful and you find this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and let's get into it. So why fear? Where does it come from? Well, fear comes from all kinds of places. It comes from lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. It comes from being unprepared. It comes from maybe you were conditioned to be scared of something from the time you were a child or whatever. It comes from all sorts of places. But I found that without a doubt, the biggest source of fear for most people is the unknown. So take, for example, most of the people that watch this channel are interested in firefighting or becoming a firefighter or the fire service in some manner. So many people are terrified of the interview because they're scared of sitting down in front of an interview panel and not knowing how it's going to go, not knowing what to expect, not knowing what you're going to be asked, not knowing if they're going to reject you, if they're going to like you. That's normal. That's fear of the unknown. So many people are scared to even get into firefighting or apply to a fire department because they don't know what to expect. I've talked about a million times, Hollywood and TV doesn't do us any favors by giving us a real idea of what firefighting is about and what it's really like. So you don't know what's coming. Even outside of firefighting, maybe you're in a relationship that you know that you shouldn't be in anymore, but you're scared to end it because you don't know what it's going to be like without that person. Or maybe you're scared to go ask your boss for a raise because you don't know how they're going to respond. Are they going to like that? Are they not? Are they going to do it? Are you going to get rejected? Are you going to get fired? Right? Fear of the unknown can be completely crippling. And I want to tell you that that's normal. There's this stigma in the fire service, well, not just the fire service, I shouldn't even say that, everywhere, that you're supposed to have no fear, that you should not be scared of anything. And that couldn't be more untrue. It's not reality, and the people that perpetuate that and say things like that are usually the most scared people around. So if you do have these fears, whatever they are, whatever you're dealing with, how do you get beyond them? Well, I've found that the easiest, well, I shouldn't say the easiest because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a slow process. The best way to go about getting beyond this is by building up mental toughness and resilience. And there's only one way to do that. And it's exposing yourself to things that are difficult. Now, the easiest and most obvious way to do that is do things that are physically difficult, right? Maybe it's start working out. Maybe it's go set a goal of running a marathon. Maybe it's I don't know, whatever physically challenges you. That's the easiest and the most obvious way. But that's not the only way to begin to incrementally face your fears and build resilience. Maybe, for instance, a lot of people have sent me messages saying, hey, I'm really scared of blood, and I don't know if I can handle looking at things like that. And so that's what's keeping me from applying to a fire department or becoming an EMT or a paramedic. Well, maybe you go on YouTube and you watch a surgery. See how that goes. You're going to see blood. See how you feel. Maybe it makes you queasy. Maybe it makes you a little uneasy. Well, watch it for 5 minutes and turn it off. Tomorrow, watch it again for 5 minutes. As soon as you start to feel uneasy or queasy, turn it off. Just keep doing that day by day. The key is when you start out to set the bar as low as you possibly can. Don't jump into this as something that, oh, today I'm going to, right? If your goal is to push yourself physically, you're not just going to go run a marathon tomorrow. Run a mile. Run a half mile, and then the next day run another mile, and then the next day run a little bit more than that, and incrementally work your way up till you build more resilience and you build mental toughness. Like I said, this isn't just physically though. Maybe you want to get a degree somewhere. Well, maybe you need to start studying. Spend 10 minutes today studying. Spend 10 minutes today reading. Start pushing yourself little by little, day by day. And do it in a way that forces you to face whatever fear you have. Again, another example, because I like to give examples because I don't like when people just tell you ideas, but don't tie it back to anything practical. A lot of the people here are scared of the interview. A lot of people are scared of public speaking or asking for something in public, whether it be for a raise from your boss or asking somebody on a date or whatever. So how do you get past that? Well, maybe the first thing you need to do is write down whatever your question or whatever answer it's going to be. If it's an interview, you're going to be giving an answer. If you're asking for a raise or something, you're going to be asking for something. Maybe write down what you want to say. Step one. Step two would be to sit in front of the mirror and repeat it back to yourself till you get so comfortable it's nothing, right? You're building this resilience slowly, step by step, and it's going to take time. But the key is to keep showing up. I recently did a 100 push-up a day for 30-day challenge. It's on this channel. You can find it else. Actually, I'll put the link for day one up here if that's something you're interested in watching or doing. The point of the challenge wasn't push-ups. Yes, push-ups are good. Yes, it's good to do those things and to get stronger and fitter and whatnot. The point of the challenge was to get people to follow along, to start here, end up here, and look back at day one and say, wow, look how much I improved. There's no way I thought I could have done that. It's an exercise in building resilience just as much as it's an exercise in building strength. That's the idea behind this. So whatever your fear is, start building mental toughness by setting the bar low and just stepping over it. And every time you achieve a new milestone, give yourself some time to appreciate what you did. I have this problem. Anytime I achieve a goal or I reach a goal, in the back of my mind, I'll always say, well, that wasn't that big of a deal. Anybody could have done that. And that's a toxic thing you can do. Don't do that. Whenever you reach a milestone, maybe you're uncomfortable with the blood and you watch 5 minutes of a surgery on YouTube or something along those lines. Maybe you do that, give yourself a minute to say, all right, I did it. And then do it again tomorrow. And give yourself a minute to say, all right, I did it. I'm proud of myself for doing that. Maybe you only ran 100 yards on your path to run a marathon. You did it. That's an achievement. Keep going. And then track everything. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's becoming more fit, whether it's getting over your fear of blood or whatever, track it. Write it down on day one. Write down whatever your final destination, your final goal is, and start working your way step by step by step by step, and keep going. So really, there's not that much to it. It's really the only way that you can do it. It's really the only way you really get beyond your fears and build the confidence and understand what's in the unknown. So why is it important that you do this? Well, I found that there's a few reasons that it's important that you get beyond your fears, whatever it is that they are. The first reason is if you don't, you will ultimately end up becoming resentful. We've all met these in the context of firefighting. We've all met people that tried to become career firefighters, didn't do it, and now they blame everybody else. They're miserable to be around. They're resentful. Anybody that tries to push themselves and get ahead, they always try and cut them off at the knees. Don't become that person. That's a symptom of somebody that quit on themselves. That's a symptom of somebody that is now resentful because they couldn't face their own fears and they couldn't get beyond where they were. Don't be that person. The other thing is you're going to let other people in your life down if you're unable to face your fears, if you're unable to push yourself from beyond where you are, even if it's just a little bit. And I'll tell you a story about that here a little later. But then also, this is where true confidence comes from. Allowing yourself to take one step up the ladder, getting a little bit better, by little bit better, by little bit better. That's where your confidence comes from. We live in a society that always talks about self-image and self-esteem and confidence and just be you. Yeah, all that's great. But you need to prove that to yourself. And until you do that, you probably will not have true confidence in the sense that you know that you can overcome anything that gets in your way, that you won't build that sort of resilience and mental toughness. The second reason you have to get beyond it is because most of you that are watching this are interested in getting into the fire service. You're interested in becoming a firefighter. Some of you have voiced things to me saying you're not interested in firefighting, you're interested in police and medic, and that's great too. Whether or not you like it, when you become a firefighter, you will become a leader within your community. And a hallmark of all great leaders is the ability to face adversity and fear and still overcome it, still do what needs to be done. And I'm not trying to turn this into this corny, when the tones go off, we go to work. That's not what I'm about. That's not what this channel's about. What I am saying, though, is that the world needs more people that are willing to face the fear of their own fears of life and do what needs to be done and do the hard work and get things done. The world needs more people like that, and that can be you. And then finally, to kind of illustrate all this, I said earlier that if you don't overcome your fears, it's going to affect other people. I think I said let other people down, but it's going to have a negative effect on other people beyond just you. And this really hit home for me recently, because if you look in the Firefighter Now logo, it's somewhere on this channel, you'll see it. If you look closely, it says on there, established 2016. Well, that is true. I started the website Firefighter Now in 2016, and I started it for the number one reason. I wanted to give resources to people that wanted to get into the fire service to help them, help more good people join the fire service. Because when I was trying to join the fire service, I didn't know anybody and there was no real good resources out there, so I thought I would make my own. Well, YouTube isn't a new platform. It was around in 2016, but I really wasn't comfortable with the idea of sitting in front of a camera and talking and putting it out there for people all around the world to see. The thought of that just made me really uncomfortable. I didn't really like that. I thought, well, who am I to talk in these videos? I don't really know what I'm talking about. But recently, since I've begun doing this and putting these out regularly, I can't tell you how many emails and messages I've gotten from people that quite honestly are overwhelming, talking about the impact that that's had, how it's helped them get a job, the way that it's changed the way they view themselves and firefighting as a whole. And it dawned on me that I could have been doing this 4 years ago, but I let my own fear or hesitancy from sitting here in front of this camera and talking to you, and I'm still not totally comfortable with it. I still don't really enjoy, I enjoy doing it, but it still makes me uncomfortable. It's hurt other people, and it never really dawned on me till recently. So the point I'm trying to make is ask yourself, what fears do you have? What things are you doing that are, and you're the only one that'll ever know, that are in the back of your mind that is keeping you from getting to where you want to be, whether it be in firefighting, whether it be moving up in firefighting, I don't know, whatever it is. What can you do? What's the lowest rung you can set to start building that resilience and start facing your fears step by step, day by day? So as always, I hope you guys found this useful. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.